Coldplay just made a move that shook the music world, a decision that goes far beyond stadium lights, booming speakers, and tens of thousands of fans chanting in unison. Picture this: in 2025, Coldplay will donate 10% of their UK concert revenue to the Music Venue Trust, an organization fighting on the front lines to save local music venues that are slowly disappearing. But here's the real question: is this just a generous donation, or could it spark a revolution that changes the future of live music forever? Stay with me, because what's coming will surprise you. Before we dive deeper, hit that like button right now, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss the biggest updates from the music world. Trust me, what you're about to hear might completely change the way you see concerts. Local music venues in the UK, tiny rooms with sticky floors, low stages, and sound systems that shake your chest. That's where legends are born. Oasis, Arctic Monkeys, Adele, even Coldplay themselves once played on those small, smoky stages before becoming global icons. But today, those very venues are under threat. Rising costs, pressure from big arenas, and financial struggles are shutting them down one by one. That's why Coldplay's decision feels like a lifeline in the middle of a storm. Imagine this: every Coldplay ticket sold at Wembley or Manchester doesn't just buy fans an unforgettable night, it also helps keep a struggling local venue alive. Every fan, by singing along with Chris Martin, is indirectly helping save the grassroots heart of the UK music scene. But why now? Why Coldplay? Why this moment? Is it just charity, or is there a deeper message hidden in this bold move? Chris Martin once said in an interview, "Music is the heartbeat of a community. Without places to begin, that heartbeat stops." Today, those words are coming alive in action. Coldplay isn't just writing a check. They're pledging an actual percentage of their revenue, 10% of one of the highest-grossing tours on the planet. That's not pocket change. That's impact. But let's pause. Could this really be enough? Music Venue Trust has warned for years that more than one-third of grassroots venues are at risk of permanent closure. So, could Coldplay's millions turn the tide? Or is this just the first domino in a much larger movement? Here's where things get really interesting. If Coldplay succeeds in sparking this change, imagine what happens next. What if Ed Sheeran, Adele, Harry Styles, even international giants like Taylor Swift followed suit? Suddenly, the biggest artists on earth wouldn't just be selling out arenas, they'd be funding the very stages where the next generation of talent is born. The ripple effect could be massive. Picture a rundown little venue in Liverpool, barely surviving. A teenage band is about to give up because there's nowhere left to play. Then, thanks to funds from the Music Venue Trust, powered by Coldplay's donation, that venue stays open. The kids play their set. And maybe, just maybe, one of them becomes the next global superstar. That's not just charity, that's the circle of music coming full circle. But let's flip the script. What if these small venues disappear? No more sweaty nights in crowded basements. No more "I saw them before they were famous" stories. No more places where raw talent turns into history. That's what's at stake here: an entire culture, an entire future of music, hanging in the balance. And this is the climax. Coldplay aren't just singing about hope, they're living it. With every ticket bought, fans aren't just supporting a band. They're becoming part of a rescue mission. This isn't just entertainment anymore. This is survival. So now the spotlight shifts to us. Will we stand behind this movement? Will we start seeing concerts not just as a night out, but as a way to protect music's roots? Here's the ultimate payoff: Coldplay has lit the spark. But whether it becomes a fire that changes the music industry forever depends on us, on fans, on artists, on the global community. Share this story. Talk about it. And tell me in the comments, should other big artists follow Coldplay's lead? And if you want to stay ahead of the biggest music stories shaping our future, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this is only the beginning. The fight to save live music has started, and you are already part of it. Coldplay's announcement didn't just appear in a press release and vanish, it sent shockwaves across social media, headlines, and fan communities worldwide. The numbers are staggering. Coldplay's Music of the Spheres World Tour already ranks among the highest-grossing tours in history, generating hundreds of millions in revenue. 10% of their UK concert income isn't a symbolic gesture, it's millions of pounds redirected to the grassroots lifeline of British music. But here's the twist, this isn't just about money. It's about credibility. Coldplay are not newcomers. They've been on the world stage for over 2 decades, selling more than 100 million records, headlining Glastonbury multiple times, collaborating with Beyoncé, Rihanna, BTS. They could easily sit back, tour stadiums, and enjoy the spoils of global fame. Yet instead, they're deliberately shining a spotlight on the smallest players in the industry, the struggling bars, the sweaty basements, the independent venues where music still feels raw, dangerous, and alive. Why does this matter so much? Because without those venues, there is no next Coldplay. There is no Arctic Monkeys. There is no Adele. The entire pipeline of British music collapses. And when the UK is one of the biggest cultural exporters on earth, that collapse doesn't just affect Britain, it echoes worldwide. Let's add a pattern interrupt here. Imagine for a second the silence. A Friday night in Camden with no gigs. A Saturday in Manchester with no up-and-coming bands. The venues shuttered, the posters taken down, the stages gathering dust. Fans scrolling on their phones, realizing there's nowhere left to discover the next big thing. That silence is what Coldplay are trying to fight against, but will fans care? That's the burning question. We live in an era where ticket prices for big shows are skyrocketing, where fans feel squeezed by the cost of live music. Some critics argue Coldplay should cut ticket prices instead. But others see the genius of their move. By channeling revenue directly into music venue trust, they're making every fan part of something bigger. You're not just buying a ticket, you're buying hope for the next generation. And here's the mid-story teaser. Whispers are already starting that other big acts are watching Coldplay closely. Insiders hint that conversations are happening behind closed doors. Could this be the spark for an industry-wide revolution? Could we soon see headlines like Ed Sheeran pledges tour revenue to grassroots venues or Adele launches fund for UK's music future? Stay tuned, because the domino effect might already be in motion. Let's zoom in again. Music Venue Trust isn't a faceless organization. It's a collective of passionate individuals who have fought tooth and nail to keep independent venues alive. During the pandemic, when venues were forced to close, they led campaigns to save hundreds from permanent shutdown. They've been shouting into the void, demanding that big players step up. And now, with Coldplay's backing, they finally have a megaphone loud enough to shake the industry. Think about the symbolism. A band that once played to a handful of friends in small pubs is now standing in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley, saying, "We haven't forgotten where we came from." That's a powerful message, not just for the UK, but for artists everywhere. But here comes the climax, the emotional peak. Picture the lights going down at a Coldplay show. The stadium roars, the music swells, the wristbands glow. And then Chris Martin steps to the mic, telling the crowd, "Because of you, tonight's concert will help keep live music alive across the UK." Tens of thousands cheer, not just for the music, but for the cause. That's not just entertainment, it's a movement. Now let's pull back again, because the implications stretch further than you think. If grassroots venues survive, they become breeding grounds not only for bands but for communities, cultures, and stories. Those tiny stages are where diversity thrives, where genres collide, where voices that don't fit the mainstream finally get heard. Saving them isn't just about saving music, it's about saving culture itself. And so the question remains, will others rise to the challenge? Will Coldplay be remembered as the band that changed the economics of live music, or just as a one-off headline? The answer lies in how fans, artists, and the industry respond. Here's the payoff. Coldplay has shown that music isn't just about sound. It's about responsibility, legacy, and connection. They've drawn a line in the sand. The stadiums don't matter if the basements die. The hits don't matter if the next generation never gets a chance. And now the final call to action: don't just be a spectator. Be part of this story. Share it, spread it, discuss it. Tell your friends, tell your favorite artists, make noise. Should every global superstar pledge a percentage of their tours to keep local venues alive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to stay at the heart of stories that redefine music's future, smash that subscribe button now. Because this isn't just Coldplay's story, it's our story. The story of how live music might just be saved, one ticket, one venue, one song at a time.